I am Jeremy Steele, and I am a UMC elder serving in the DC area. I just a couple of little random facts that might be helpful or help you realize I might know something about what I'm talking about. I got my undergrad in communication studies, actually. I have spent the last 25 years in full-time ministry. I've specialized primarily in millennial and Gen Z, as well as digital ministry. And I, for a while, I actually lived in the Holy Land for all things digital. I lived in Silicon Valley for a while, launched a spirituality app while I was there, and I kind of just consider myself a technologist, right? Like I'm a fan of anything with code or circuits. And as far as MyCom, I have actually been writing for them for 11 years, Renee. It's been an awesome ride. So today, what we are going to do is something a little different than I have seen in other places. Like Renee said, I've gone to some of these same trainings, and I've learned all kinds of stuff that I would never use, and that actually have ended up sucking my time. This is all about very practical, and being very practical in your sort of day-to-day life as a church leader, as someone in ministry, using AI. But before we get there, we need to ask, what is AI? Because that question is, oh, look at that, man. Here we go. What is AI? So we're going to ask that of ChatGPT. We're going to ask it to give me a definition of AI. So this is ChatGPT. If you haven't seen it, you're probably the last person in the world. So here's ChatGPT's definition. It says artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence and machine. This is really long. You can see it knows a lot. And it's actually good at stringing together words. And if it knows the data already, it's really good at presenting it, but it's going to be somewhat complex. So I'm going to ask it to, can you explain this to me like I am 5 years old? Right? So that's great. So imagine if your toys could think and make decisions like you. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is like making a computer or robots. I love this. So this is a perfect example of what ChatGPT is good at, what AI is good at, and how it can help us actually save time and complement our own abilities, right? Some of us are really great with kids, really great talking to kids, and that's fantastic. And that's not everybody. And so sometimes something like this, for example, ChatGPT is able to understand how how people comprehend and process at different age levels, and can take something that you want to say and give you some ways to say it in a way that somebody can understand. Right. So a way a certain age group can understand it, which is incredibly helpful. I actually will do that sometimes as a parent. Like, I need to say this thing to my teenager, give me some ways to do it, because ChatGPT is definitely a specific type of AI. So I want to just say, whether or not when you've actually used AI in this sort of proper form like ChatGPT, you actually have used AI, because AI is underlying all artificial intelligence is something called machine learning. So this is like the backbone of most AI, and it's where computers take a lot of information in, process it, and then make predictions based on the data that they've brought in. That's called machine learning. So if you've ever heard that term, that's what we're talking about. It takes a bunch of data, it analyzes it, it makes inferences so that then it can make predictions or decisions based on that. And this is, if you've got a smartphone that was made in the last probably 5 years, every time you take a picture of this, you're using AI. It actually takes multiple images and uses machine learning to combine those images into the best looking image. And that is AI. There's also sort of deep learning, which is sort of the next layer. It uses something called neural networks to layer on inferences and connections. Then there was a big breakthrough called natural language processing that enables machines to sort of understand and interpret human language with nuance. And then what you just saw was an explanation or a demonstration of something called a large language model, LLM. That's what ChatGPT is. Um, and that is actually sort of an evolution of what you have probably used multiple times, which is like autocomplete or like predictive typing on a keyboard, and you're starting to type, how to say pneumonia, how to type pneumonia, and you have no idea how to type it, but you start doing it, and then you see the right one there, and you tap on it. That autocorrect, that predictive typing, that is based the same idea that ChatGPT is built on, which is it can take a prompt and it can string together words and is predicting what the next logical word will be. And that can be really helpful. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't replace your brain, and it doesn't replace specialized information. ChatGPT is getting more and more knowledgeable about things, and more access to actual data. But the smaller that data is, the more niche an idea or concept is, the more likely ChatGPT is to do something we call hallucinate. Just make something up. It's like the friend that you can ask any question, and whether they know the answer or not, they will give you an answer. Yeah, it's like that. I was listening to a podcast. The guy put into ChatGPT, can you tell me who I am? And it started listing things. Says, this is a podcast host, famous for blah, blah, blah. And it got a lot of stuff right. It also mentioned some books that didn't exist, that he had never written, and all kinds of random other things. He did it for another guest on the show, and it said that they had died, which they had not died. They were sitting right there. And so you've got to understand, it doesn't replace your brain. You can't just say, write me a Sunday school lesson. Bad idea, right? Write me a sermon. Not a good idea. We'll get into that, because what you actually have to do is something called prompt engineering. And that means asking questions, making the prompts in ChatGPT. The prompt, like here, can you explain this to me like I am 5 years old? Getting the prompts, constructing them in a way that is going to get you the best possible result. And so I'm going to tell you that is something that we're going to talk about in this webinar. I've had so many people say, oh, I tried ChatGPT, I asked it to do X, and it gave me horrible results. And the reason you get bad results generally from ChatGPT is when you have bad prompts, right? Or if you think of it as like it's a human expert, right? I can engage with it like I would engage somebody who says like they're a medical doctor. It's not like that. They're not a human expert. So you have to actually learn how to interact with it. So let's talk about what we're going to do over the next hour or so. I'm going to be focused on products I think have the greatest impact. There are a million different artificial intelligence products, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I've tried, I don't know, it feels like I have infinite accounts on these things. But I'm focused on the ones that have greatest impact. And whenever possible, I'm going to be using the ones that have free versions that are actually useful free versions, because budgets, right? I 100% get that. If you are part of a United Methodist church, you actually have, in the United States, you are a nonprofit, and a lot of these have even full versions available for free for nonprofits. And so I want to just give you a little heads up. This right here, you can go to umgroupruling.org, umgroupruling.org, and that will give you all the documents that you will need based on your EIN for your United Methodist Church. So if all the documents you might need to prove you are a nonprofit, that's the way you get those. So that's a really important thing. The other thing, all the links that I'm talking about, all the products that I'm talking about, and any sort of helpful little bits like some prompt engineering pieces, I've actually put together I've put together a really helpful little web page for you to check that out. You can find that at methodistai.com, methodistai.com. And because I'm in this specific view, we'll show you right here. This is it. You'll see some articles, MyCom stuff, and some stuff from our webinar. So methodistai.com. If you can't catch everything that I mentioned, that's a great place to do it. So we're going to be headed, and we're going to be hitting 5 categories. We're going to talk about using AI for brainstorming and ideating and innovation support. We're going to talk about using AI for content creation. We're going to talk about how you can use AI for administrative support, how to use AI for marketing, and how to use AI for evaluating curriculum and data. Okay, this is a big deal. All of these things can help you and actually help you save time. If you want to just play around with these things later and spend all of your time just goofing off on AI, great. I don't have a ton of extra time. I have like 1,000 things that I have to do. If I need to know that I'm going to actually net time out of that. And at the end of this, I really feel like I'm going to actually help you use AI to save time and increase your effectiveness. All right. So, and a lot of what we're going to be talking about is some different ways to use ChatGPT. We're going to use a ton of different AI programs, but I really feel like right now for most church leaders, ChatGPT is the best option. If you can spend money on only one of these tools, this is the one that I would like you to spend money on. There is a free version, and for free you get the ChatGPT 3.5 model, and all kinds of unlimited things. But if you pay $20 a month, and I know that can be a lot, but if you pay $20 a month, you will have access to ChatGPT 4 as well as DALL-E and its ability to browse, and as well as the ability to create your own GPTs, which we will be talking about in just a minute. So hold on, because most of the time we're going to be using stuff. If we're using ChatGPT, we are using stuff in this plus category, but everything except for generating images with ChatGPT and doing the custom GPT can be done. It's just not as great of a model for free. So like I said, if you're going to pay for one thing, pay for ChatGPT. I believe it will pay for itself for you in the amount of time you get and the value you get out of it. All right. So we're going to go right into our first category. We're going to pause the end of each of these categories to talk through and answer a couple of questions at each thing, and just to give your brain a break, because it might sometimes feel like you are drinking from a fire hose. So let's talk a little bit about ChatGPT as far as brainstorming. So now I want to just say, sometimes you are trying to do something and you are stuck on ideas and you can't figure out exactly what you want to do. And all you've got is you're just imagining things that you've done before, right? That happens. And sometimes you are not in a church or in a location or in a state that you can just call a meeting and grab a bunch of really smart people to help you brainstorm. ChatGPT is fantastic at being a brainstorm partner. Now, I told you we're going to talk about prompt engineering, and this is the first time we're going to talk about it. ChatGPT, I'm going to suggest an order of what you can do in your prompts. Again, you can find this listed at the methodistai.com. But you're going to start with I am doing, and then you're going to describe your project. I'm doing this thing. And then you're going to say, I want you to, and what ChatGPT task is. And then you're going to say, I am going to give you, if you're going to give them data, if it's a lot of data, you can do it in several different ways, and I'll explain that in just a second. Or if you're going to just like give it a little bit, like I am looking for illustrations for John chapter 1. I want you to give me, I want you to come up with creative illustrations. based on this very particular reading that I have of John chapter 1. That would be the data source. And then I want you to give me a number of whatever the insights is going to give you. And then you're going to end that prompt, and this is important, with the question, do you understand? Because what that's going to do, it's going to signal ChatGPT to not just start in and give you an answer, but you are wanting to go through and you can check the work. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example of this. Let's talk about brainstorming ideas for a fall festival. Okay. I've got a prompt right here that we are going to try. And here it goes. It says, I'm trying to come up with ideas for things to do at our fall festival. I don't want to repeat the things we've done in the past. I want you to help me brainstorm. I'm going to give you a list of fall festival ideas that we've used in the past. I want you to give me 10 new ideas that don't repeat the basic concepts or methods from the ones we have done before. I want you to make sure they are interesting and appropriate for children ages 7 through 12. And then the magic words, do you understand? And then ChatGPT is going to come up with a number of different things. It's going to say, yes, I understand. Great. Give me the things. So I've got this. I just pulled this from a MyCom article on fall festival ideas. So we're just going to go in here and paste. Oh, let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can. My paste is not quite working. Let's copy from here and paste from there. There we go. And now we've given it all of these ideas, and here's what ChatGPT is going to come up with us. A leaf art station. I love that idea. That sounds fantastic. Hay bale maze. Brilliant. We haven't done that before. Apple cider pressing demo. I am 100% here. Scarecrow building. Like, did you see? These are some great ideas. Now, again, this doesn't replace your brain because, when you're brainstorming, getting the initial list of ideas is important. And then you want to ask, how can we make this better or bigger or whatever our values are? We want to, how can we incorporate more people or younger people or older people, right? And here we are. Look at this. This is fantastic. And some of these are kind of like, oh, yeah. An interactive storytelling movie. I've seen it. Or, pumpkin seed art. That's not surprising. However, there's a lot of really great ideas in here. Okay, so this is what ChatGPT, if you're doing text and ideas and ideating, this is fantastic. It can really, really help you understand what we're going to do. Okay, but ChatGPT, again, its biggest strength is words. Okay, that's the biggest strength with ChatGPT. And so I want you to, one of the things that we've had before is coming up with ideas. I am seeing that my screen is blurry for some reason. Okay. Well, let's see if we can fix that. Let me see. I am not, let me see. Let me go to my output and see if I can make this. You know what? We'll stop being fancy. We'll see if Zoom will let me just share my screen on Safari. And then Renee, is that does that look better?
It does to me. So I'm assuming it probably does to everyone else. I'll let you know if not.
Great.
Yes, they're saying
We'll
so
keep
much
it.
better. Yep, all good. We're good.
Fantastic. All right, let's keep going. Thanks for the feedback. You never know what technology piece is going to fail at any given moment. For example, ChatGPT used to do something really well yesterday, and then today when I tested it, it didn't. So we won't be doing that today. All right, so let's talk about coming up with names, right? So I'm looking for names for a program for my church. This program is for older adults over 60. Each week, they go on a different local outing. The goal of this program is to help them grow closer as friends and support each other in faith. Now, if you see, this is a data source here that I'm adding just in the prompt itself, because I don't need to give it a whole list of things we've done before, right? And then I ask, can you give me 10 ideas? Maybe ones that play off our open hearts, open minds, open doors slogan. All right. So here's how we do it. We give ChatGPT that idea, and it's going to help us come up with names for our program. Let's see, maybe if it decides it's going to keep working today. Brilliant. So let me see if I can find, here we go. Here's where I did it before. Here is this, Open Journey, Golden Gateways, Harmony Horizons, Elder Explorers, right? And you can see, right, actually, this is the first thing. And what you can do now is when you get this result, you can say, great, this is like, these things are really long. So do it again without the colon in the name. Make the whole name 3 words or less, right? And then you get something more like this. And so you can go back, letting it give you some ideas, right? There we go. And it is not showing. Now, here's on ChatGPT. If it messes up, you can click this button and it will regenerate a response. And there you can see it's running with that. The other thing is, if it is a widely known source, you can ask ChatGPT to pull from a widely known source suggestions. So, for example, a widely known source is the United Methodist hymnal, right? So I can say, can you give me suggestions for hymns for Pentecost Sunday from the United Methodist hymnal? And if I put that in, if it's a widely known source that it can like easily get access to, it will say yes. And come up with, if you're just like, we've done the same hymn every week for the last 10, I need something creative. It will come and give you all of these great things. All right. So that's some of this like brainstorming kind of stuff. Let's talk about using a custom GPT. Now, this is basically what you can do with ChatGPT is you can use the ChatGPT engine, like its inference engine, on your own set of data, okay? You can use its inference engine on your own set of data, and it will be able to pull information for you. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to actually do, we're going to create a new GPT. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Explore and create. And here's what we're going to do. And we're going to say, I'm going to tell it this. We're going to tell it, I want to create a custom GPT that will draw from a prayer document and suggest content when prompted from the prayer book. I don't want this visible to anyone, right? But me, and I don't want it to draw from any content except the content I upload. And then we're going to click this, and it's going to start thinking and configuring itself. And once it's done configuring itself, we're going to be able to upload this. I wrote a book years ago called The Book of Everyday Prayer. It's got all kinds of different prayers in it, occasional prayers and prayers for the hours. And you see, it's going to ask me some questions so that it can start setting this up privately. I have the whole PDF of the document on my computer, and so and it's generated an image for it. And no, that's a great image. It's using DALL-E to generate that image, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And how detailed do we want the explanations to be? Well, detailed, but I only want content from the document I upload. All right, and it's going to do that. I'm going to go in here to this configure panel, and in here I can go and upload some files. And I'm going to upload my file right there, and it's going to be able to, it says unable to upload. Interesting. We'll go back in here. Ask for clarification. All right. And I'm curious about why it's not wanting to upload this document. We'll try it one more time. There it is. It did. It went that time. Who knows? All right. Now that I've got this built, I can go over now. On the left side here is this configuration pane. On the right side now is I can actually preview the GPT itself. And oh, I did not get my answer here. I want to say friendly advisor. All right. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, I need a prayer about homework. I know this prayer is in there. And I'm going to click that and see what it pulls up. Maybe. Great. So, doing all of this stuff live is exactly what you want to do all the time. So we'll let it do its thing. But basically what happens is after it's all built out, you can come in and you can, great. Let's see if it pulls it up. You can search and you can even then adapt it, right? So this like prayer about homework, when it comes up, I can then act like it's Chat GPT and say, hey, can you make this more along the lines of a fifth grader, more along the lines of a senior in high school, right? And then we're just now stuck. So but what's nice then is like when you've loaded, so like for example, if you upload a bunch of sermons, if you've written those out, you can upload them. You can use ChatGPT to basically search them and use them and say like, I need an idea on this scripture. I need an illustration for this. And you can even say like an illustration that's not in this group of text, or that if you've labeled them with the dates that I haven't done in the last 3 months. Okay. So we will let ChatGPT continue to process. We will come back to that maybe sometime. We'll see. All right. So that is this brainstorming and suggesting function for ChatGPT. Before we move on to the next section of our sections, does anyone have any specific questions about this content, about brainstorming, suggesting content? Why was it important to set the new GPT to private? That's a great question. So GPTs, if you don't set them to private, they're open for anybody. Anybody can use them and search them, and you might be fine with that. This is actually copyrighted information that I'm putting in here that I own, and so I don't want that just to be in the rest of their data. Hey, look, something went wrong. No duh, ChatGPT. All right. Is the brainstorming feature only available in no. You can do this with the free version. This piece right here is in the paid version. Creating your own GPT. Does it allow multiple users? Not of the same exact account. You would each have your own account, and each account, if it's paid, is the paid account. So you basically would see if you look at ChatGPT, it actually shows all the stuff I've ever done in here. So you would see everybody's if you're sharing it. Not that you're supposed to do that, but if you're sharing your login. Um, yeah, these prompts will be on that Methodist AI website. Is there a place to find prompts? They went pretty fast. Yeah, I'll put all these prompts at that methodistai.com. Yeah, that's great. And it'll just keep scrolling. Those prompts are not on there quite yet, but I will definitely do that. Can you suggest a resource to learn about GPT? I'll be honest. You can, any question you have about it, you can Google it, go to YouTube. There's a ton of training. I feel like the best way to use ChatGPT is to get some basics from something like this, and then just start playing around with it and seeing what you can do. What are some other situations where you would want to create a custom GPT? So basically, creating a custom GPT, it allows you to have all the tools of a large language model, all the ability that it has, but on a limited data set, or on a proprietary data set, right? So anything that you want specifically to do, or something that you might want. So I've been working on one, the youth ministry companion, and basically being able to draw on just a specific set of data and say, like, I need a game for 5 people that's outside, right? And I know that it's going to give people actually good stuff, and not just random stuff. Is it possible to ask GPT to reference published books by various authors? Yes and no. And this has been a little bit of like drama. If those books were available on any information that was available online, just in the clear, is available in their data set. But yeah, it's a but you can't just say, unless you have a copy of a book and you upload it, it will not be able to reference that. We will show some uploading of documents and stuff in just a second. All right, these are all great questions. Let's go to content creation. So content creation is something great, and we just showed a little bit with this custom GPT. But I want to say, one of the content pieces that churches are creating all of the time is sermons, right? Many churches, many pastors will manuscript their sermons, but a lot of pastors won't. But a lot of people are recording their sermons, posting them as a podcast or whatever. And so I want to just say, like, you're generating a lot of content. And if you're trying to find ways to, like, put something in a newsletter or make a devotional or make a social media post, one of the easiest ways to do that without asking somebody to write unique things all the time is to actually use the content that you already are creating or already have created in the past. So let's talk about the sermon. Okay, so one of the things you've got to do in order to create content off of a sermon is you need to get that sermon from audio or video to text. There's a bunch of great tools for this. One of them that is fantastic is called otter.ai. And in otter.ai, you go in here and you would click on import. Actually, I need to change so that you can see me. There we go. All right, then you would click import, and you would import an audio file, and then it will go in and transcribe it. I'm not going to upload one today. I've uploaded some things in the past, and I'll show you this. We did a screencast about using Canva, and I went in and I said, hey, give me all of this as words, because we wanted to, like, create a post based off of it. So I did that, and all of a sudden, look at this. We've got this wonderful, all of this in text, and this is incredibly accurate. It's absolutely fantastic. Another tool that I think is really great. So what you can do now is you could take that, copy it, you could paste it into something, and we could start generating some content off of it. I'm going to show you one other tool before we go and use ChatGPT. It's a tool that is like just perfectly designed for exactly this. It's something called Descript. Descript, here, let's pull it up right now. So I've got this podcast called The Guide to Teens, and I threw my audio in here, and I said, okay, here it is. We transcribe it, and it did this. Now, what's great about Descript and Otter is it will detect different speakers. So it shows me and the person I was interviewing named Chloe and all of this. Now, here's what I'm going to show you this. Renee, can you tell me if you hear this? Because you should be able to hear it as well.
I do not.
Can you hear that?
No.
Of course. Okay, well, let's stop this.
I think
share.
if you go to the advanced sharing options, that it gives you the audio.
If I go back to this for just a minute, I think that's gonna work for us. So here we go. Tell me if you hear it now. Changes. Did that work?
Yes, we can hear it now.
Welcome to the guide. Okay. Great. So I'm going to show you here's what we've got. Welcome to the Guide to Teens podcast. We are going to talk about the teen body and how it. Now you see what it's done. It's actually walking me through. Now here's one of the things this is amazing about Descript. Also, Descript has a free version that will do all of this for like a certain amount of like an hour of content for you a month. Okay. So now watch this though. I just added the in there, and I don't like that. And so watch this. I'm going to take that out. And let's play it. Welcome to the Guide to Teens podcast. We are going to talk about the teen. Did you hear that? Yeah. Yeah. That's what happened. And we'll just go. Teens podcast. And so you can do that, right? You can delete words, and you can delete if somebody has an awkward pause or that kind of stuff, you can just go through and edit this like you were editing a Word document. Now, the other thing that's really helpful about this is it can help you create content off of this, and it can even help you create video content. So in Descript, you can go in, and we're going to do a caption video, right? And you see it's set up to be like Reels. And now, watch this. Welcome to the Guide to Teens podcast. We are going to talk about. Brilliant. We've got that, but it's not very exciting just on the face of it right now. But we can go in and we can add video to this. So we're going to just put a video right here. And now we'll wait for it. There we go. We can make this really nice and big. And right. And then we're going to make sure that goes to the back. We're just doing a quick and dirty version, but let's play this. The teen body and how it changes specifically when it comes to. Right. So you see that now this clip doesn't last very long. Welcome to the Guide to Teens podcast. So and you can create the video, export it right from here. The other thing that Descript has is it actually has some AI built right in, and you can click on Ask AI, and you can say, can you create a Facebook post from the most interesting content here? And all of a sudden, there we go. Look, you've got the thing that you need. Now, if you imagine this is a sermon, it's giving you the sermon text. It's giving you the ability to create, it's giving you the ability to create, let's get back so that you guys can see the pretty version. All right, let's go back here. So we're on Descript. So yeah, so you can now use this to create all kinds of really helpful information. And now I'm going to go in, I'm going to select all of this, and we're going to pop back over now to ChatGPT. And in ChatGPT, I'm going to say, I want to give you a transcript from my podcast, and you create 2 blog posts from it. Do you understand? Now, we're going to do that for now. And I've got this ready to paste as soon as ChatGPT speeds up. And great. Let's see what happens. I'll do that again. All right. So we'll go and find where I did this. Here we go. Well, everything is dying right now. So it appears that ChatGPT has just completely lost its way. And here we go. Let's do this again. I would like you to create 2, well, let's just give it one blog post from a transcript I will give you. Do you understand? There we go. That's what I like to hear. And I just pasted it in here. If you export it as a PDF, that can help. So right here, there's a blog post, and it's drawing directly from this content and just helping you understand. Now, if I want, the other thing that I can do, if you want it to be in a certain style, you can take a couple of samples of somebody's writing, and you can say, I want you to first build a writing style model so that you can create content that sounds like this, and then give it a couple of your pieces of writing. And then after that, you can say, okay, now using that model, I want to give you a transcript of my sermon, and I want you to generate a blog post that sounds like the rest of the stuff that I've written. And it will do exactly that. Now, let's just be clear. It's not 100%. You are going to want to go back through, and you're going to say, sometimes it will be overly general. Sometimes it will use some weird metaphor. It really, for some reason, likes to use the metaphor of a tapestry. No idea why. But this is one of the ways that we can generate content. All right. Now, you've all seen all kinds of really crazy things, images that are generated by AI. And so you can do those in ChatGPT, but I'd like to introduce you to another tool. It's called Midjourney. Midjourney, I think, is the better image generator. ChatGPT does good. It's better with more like graphic designy kind than imagey kinds. And so we're going to go over to Midjourney, and we're going to show like what we can do for just some fun. Okay, so Midjourney exists inside an application called Discord. So you'll need to use Discord, and now I'd love for you guys to put in the Q&A, just so that I can see it really easily. What is somebody talking about on Sunday? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, you're talking about joy. Give me like a passage or like a story that you're talking about from the Bible, maybe. Okay. Let's see. All right. Thomas. Okay. let's say I want to, or we're going to ask it to generate an image of the story of doubting Thomas. Now, here's the thing: the prompt engineering for Midjourney is you're going to use the subject, then you want a location or lighting, then you would like to add emotion, and then you want a little bit of a narrative about what's going on, what you like to see, then a type of a camera that you've used to do it, and then an aspect ratio. Aspect ratio is like 1:1 is a square, 16:9 is like the TV type, right? So we're going to do this, and we're going to say, um, we're going to do something fun with it. Okay. So we've got this idea about doubting Thomas, and we're going to say they're on stage at a Taylor Swift concert. Taylor is there assisting. There are beams of concert lights, and we're just going to let it do. And if you saw right there where it says dash AR dash AR space 16:9, that is the aspect ratio. That's going to make sure it's going to be going to look really good on the screen when you put it in the PowerPoint. Now, it's generating this image, and you're going to see when Midjourney does this, it's going to give you 4 options. And okay, here we go. Are you ready? I just can't wait. So far, it's looking pretty general, but right. So I don't like any of those. So what you do when you don't like this, it's like make sure you clearly see the faces of Taylor Swift, Jesus, and Thomas, right? Then here we go. We're going to generate another one to make sure that it's coming out. But you can see these are pretty fun already, right? It's all backlit, unfortunately, but we're getting there. And we could have, oh, you know what? I didn't. So on this, you actually have to start with /imagine, right? And then you put the prompt in. And this is not as user friendly as ChatGPT. It's just not a box you type into. There's all sorts of weird things you've got, like -- AR 16:9 and that kind of stuff. The other thing we could have done is we could have said, oh, I like these, but they're backlit. So you can say, I want to make sure that the faces are well lit and visible, or that kind of a thing. But we want to, you can see it coming in now. And what we've got now is getting closer and closer. I can see Taylor here really well. We're just going to go with it right now. I would probably keep going and revising this prompt. But the U is upscale. And so we're going to upscale this one, which is going to give us a much higher resolution one. And so you can see we've got that, and we can throw that in. I did one with her assisting with communion earlier. You can see this, the loaves and the fish right there. And it's a little fun, and it's really easy to add that little bit of fun to your slideshow and bring some levity. You can do all kinds of things. I've done what this was. I did ones with Jesus driving people out of the temple. I'll show you the one that that I ended up using when we were doing a sermon on that early part in John, and then of course cat playing a bass, because everybody wants a cat playing a bass guitar. All right, so that is content creation with images and text. So let's hear some questions about this section. The AI app I was demoing right now was called Midjourney. Midjourney. Um, so if you go to Midjourney, you're going to need to download something called Discord. Midjourney exists inside of Discord. It's complicated, but it's really nice. You can also do some of these same kind of image generations in ChatGPT if you're doing that paid version. Um, we will right. So we can actually pull that in if we want to ChatGPT while we are answering these questions and just see what ChatGPT comes up with. All right. Generally, nope. Here we go. Oh, how do you save the image? That's really great. We'll go back here. We'll click on one of these, and we can open in browser. When you click that, it's just like saving an image off of any web page. That's really great. Are there concern with copyright if using famous people? Uh, yes, obviously, all the same sort of copyright images, copyright questions are there. These are uniquely generated, and they do say that you are allowed to use them and that you own them. But if you're using the image of somebody else, you've got to be careful. But if you're just trying to make a joke in church on Sunday and you're not broadcasting it online, that I think you're going to be safe. But yeah, it's important. You can also you can specify ethnicity when using for a more accurate representation of Jesus. Anything that you can put in text, you can add to Midjourney. Descript is a free download. Oh yeah, I forgot. So ChatGPT won't at a famous pop blonde pop singers concert. They won't. ChatGPT actually won't generate images that have somebody's name in it. Descript is a free download. The dashes, there's a whole bunch of things when you're learning the Midjourney, a bunch of things that you can add, like dash dash AR space, and then the aspect ratio. There's a number of those, and there's really great tutorials inside of that you can use. In my opinion, which platform works best for designing logos or drawing? That would be here in ChatGPT. DALL-E, I feel like comes clearer to the front in something like that. I can see if I've got a logo that I've done here. So if you look here, we've got, oh, nope. Here we go. Like you see this is much more graphic-y, right? Moses parting the 5 o'clock traffic. uh, uh, so here we go. So we're going to watch this. If we wanted to pull a transcript of a non-manuscript from a YouTube live stream video, do we need to separate the audio out of the video, then upload? If you can, yes, but most of these tools will allow you to add video and they'll take the audio out of it. You would also need to download that. There's something called Downy, which I really like to download YouTube content. If you uploaded your thing to YouTube and you want to, in the past, you want to get it back down, that would be really helpful. Um, ah, and is Discord free? Yes, Discord is free. Very good. Let me see if I've missed any of these. I'm looking back. You can upload an image in Midjourney and ask it to modify the image. Yep. And there's a feature within Midjourney. If you just want to have it change one little aspect, you can go and draw a little bit in there and it will change it. All right. It looks like ChatGPT is having a hard time today. All right. Oh, see, I didn't delete Taylor Swift from it. So we're going to start a new one. We're going to delete Taylor Swift and we'll see that if it ever comes up. All right. We will go to our next piece. This next session is a little bit faster. One of the things that is fantastic, ChatGPT, again, it's paid, but it can do some really great things. Its strength is with text. And one of the things that I will use ChatGPT for sometimes is to help me proof something. I don't know about you, but our church's newsletter, one of the things that is the hardest to do is to proof it, right? To find somebody to proof it that is not the person that is actually writing it. And so one of the ways that you can use ChatGPT is to do something like that. You can go into ChatGPT, you can paste, and let's go ahead, and I've got a prompt for us to use right here. And it says, well, come on, ChatGPT, you can do it. I believe in you. All right. Well, it is having a hard day today. Here we go. Here's our prompt. I'm going to give you the text of an article I'm working on. I want you to give the text back to me and offer corrections to any misspellings in bold. If there's a better way to phrase something, give that to me in brackets where it should appear in the text. And then the magic words, do you understand? And we will hopefully see ChatGPT work. Oh, wow, this is not even fully loaded yet. So let's reload ChatGPT. Come on. All right, well, we will let ChatGPT figure itself out for a minute. Because there's another tool that does this really well. Oh, here we go. Let's see. See if it's understanding right now. If it's not, we will keep going. All right, there's another tool that is specifically for this purpose. And again, this tool is free, has a free version, and for nonprofits, it's actually free. And it is something called Grammarly. So I'm going to go ahead and take, this is an article that I wrote for the MyCom, for the MyCom newsletter. And here we go. We've got it now into Grammarly. And Grammarly is fantastic because it's going to go in here and watch this. It's going to say, look, what if we rephrase this? Instead of tools that are both easy to use and affordable, just easy and affordable tools. Absolutely. That is way better. Right? Visuals that stand out. How about appealing visuals? And this, it finds the problems, right? There are misspellings, there are double spaces. I am the worst about doing double spaces after periods. We don't do that anymore. But you can see what Grammarly does is it helps you. And you can do all kinds of different things, including adding a style guide that it's got to go by, so that if you are working and you've got a certain set of things that you want, you want it to reference people's pronouns the first time you say their name, or if you want it to whatever, you can go in, you can create a style guide that it needs to follow, and it will do that as well. So that is Grammarly, and let's go back to our old friend here. Having a hard time today. Nope. Let's just keep plugging along there, ChatGPT. We believe in you. You can do it. At some point, you'll come back. So we've got the other thing that you can do is there's a couple of different AI things, something called reclaim.ai, and it is something that will help you with your calendar. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic tool. So let's now talk about marketing. We're going to have a hard time if ChatGPT doesn't come up. So I'm going to close my browser, relaunch it, while you give any questions there about that administration section. Any questions that you've got about administration using AI. Yes, if you versions of the Bible or a book of discipline as sources for a custom GPT, yes, that's great. Especially the book of discipline, it will pull aspects of it can pull verses of the Bible, and it can do that without you having to upload those. That's great. Fantastic. What else do we have going on here? Any other questions about sort of this administration, saving some time by getting it to do some look, here we go. I knew you could do it, Chat GPT. We'll go ahead and I'll just show you what this looks like, and then we'll move on to our next section. All right. Great. So what you do is you paste it in there, and it's going to come in and go through. All right, now let's go to marketing. Everybody ready for this? I am so excited, especially because MyCom is all about marketing. So one of the things that can be really helpful is to let ChatGPT target your marketing. So, as you know, if you were part of the United Methodist Church, we actually have access to all sorts of fantastic demographic tools, and they use some market differentiators that were designed by actually credit card companies to help talk about sort of different groups of people who do different things, and you can go into the tools that we have access to give demographics and find out, oh yeah, which group is near me, right? Which group is around my church? And then what's great is you can go into ChatGPT and you can tell it, right? I festival to a specific demographic group. I want you to help me create all the text for Facebook ads for 2 different demographic groups. And then I'm giving it here the data it needs. The event is happening on November 22nd. We'll have horse rides, music by local bands, an artists and crafts fair with offerings by local artists. And we're closing all of the things just to make sure we can sorry guys for the audio problems. We've got it coming back. Let's share that screen again. So here we go. So if you see, we've given it that demographic information, and the demographic, this is a demographic that's near my church called American Royalty. It goes in and it actually shows you, here's the title, here's the headline options that do that. And then you can say, great, I have another demographic group. I'd like you to do the same thing. Do you understand? And then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna get my other demographic information ready to go. And once ChatGPT says, yes, I understand, we can do that again. But the idea is that this is going to give us all of what we need, and it's targeted to the exact population that is near our church. And then you can go into Facebook or wherever, you can put these headlines in, you can put this description in, you can put an image, whatever image you've got for it, and go. This is funny. Gastronomy. Sorry, I just saw gastronomy and it made me chuckle because I'm 12. All right. So you can help it. You can use it to help you generate everything that you need. And you can also put in and say, hey, I need this to be 50 words long. I need this to be 70 words long, right? Whatever the parameters are, you can give it those parameters and it's going to generate this stuff for you based on the data you have. And it's like having targeted marketing without having to like get a degree in all of that. And so so you can do this, and you can do this for multiple things. So you can have multiple different sets of ads, each one targeting a different demographic group, right? And run those ads for your fall festival or whatever it is that you're going to be doing, right? And you go in, you use Mission Insight, which is the tool that we have access to in the United Methodist Church. It'll tell you who's near your church. It'll help. You can even put your people in, and it'll tell you who your people are, and you can make sure that you are targeting the marketing towards the people who are near your church and like the people that are in your church, so that somebody will show up and meet people like them. So that's one of the great ways that you can use this for marketing. We've got 15 minutes left. I've got one more category. And before we switch there, do you have any questions about marketing? Where can I access Mission Insight? Renee, would you type that answer in? That would be helpful. That's something that you can, I believe you generally call your district office because it's by district that they can give you a login code. It's a really fantastic tool, but that's great where you can access Mission Insight. It's a super powerful tool. Fantastic tool. All right, let's talk about evaluation. All right, last one. This one, maybe the one you stuck to the end. This might be some of the most helpful thing, because I don't know if you have somebody any people in your church. Yes, you can do this with Google Ads too. Any people in your church who use weird random curriculum they found somewhere on the internet, and you're like, not sure if it's United Methodist. Yeah, that happens from time to time, right? So here's what I love. We can go into Chat GPT and we can give it some important markers of information and have it help us with this problem. Okay, so here's a test we're going to give it. I need you to be a curriculum writer who has a progressive United Methodist theological lens. We're going to go theological. Theological lens. Now, that might not be the lens you want it to have. That's the lens I would want it to have. I have a piece of curriculum written from a different theological stream, and I need you to give me suggestions of how to tweak it so that it will align with our progressive United Methodist theological perspective. I want to upload a PDF, and then you give your suggestions here. Do you understand? This is, I understand. So here's what I'm going to do. I just found something that I knew was really different than that. And I'm not going to reveal the source, but it is a very different take on life than a progressive United Methodist lens. And you see it's uploading the PDF here. Then we will send it. And then it's going to take some time to analyze it. And or it will take some time to crash. Well, either one. And it generally does a great job. I can go back and find where we've done. Oh, great. Here it is. It's come back online. Right. So look at this. Here's what you should do with the pre-session assignments. While maintaining scripture readings, encourage participants to explore how these passages have been understood differently throughout Christian history. So this has a very conservative lens, very not United Methodist lens, both of those things. But you see, and I'm just going to say, if you were a pastor, especially if you've been trained, you don't have to just take your whole brain out and let this do that for you. But what this does is it goes through, scans it, gives you some ideas, and then you can go in as a pastor and say, you know what? I don't like this. I do like this. Actually, that's not exactly United Methodist, so I'm not going to do that. But you have a place to start without having to it can take some of the mental load off you and get you to starting point faster. This last category that we're in is called evaluation. So we can evaluate curriculum. The other thing we can do is evaluate data. So I now have lost all of my tabs, but let me show you how this goes. Facebook right? We're going to go to Facebook and oh, wonderful Facebook. Everything's great about Facebook. I'm just kidding. But you probably have a Facebook account or an Instagram account or a page, right? And what I want you to do is go to Facebook and is this we're going to go to Facebook and we are going everything is hidden here. Hang on. There we go. Um and we're gonna go to the business suite, right? And in the business suite, we are going to go over here. I've got all the different pages that I manage there. And I'm going to do this one called the Guide to Teens. It's more of an Instagram page. And I'm going to go to content. And it's giving me data. And I'm going to just have it give me all the data. You can do the whole lifetime data. And then you can download this data, right? And right here, up here where it says export data, I've already done that, so don't worry about it. And what you can do is you can have ChatGPT read this data and make the connections between all the different things in the data, right? Because that's something that a machine is going to do a lot better than a human. I have analytics from data from my Facebook account that I want you to help me use to create a list of new ideas for posts that will build on my successes and avoid what didn't work from older posts. I want to upload the data and then have you generate 10 ideas based on what you learned for it. Do you understand the magic words? Do you understand? And then we're going to upload this and send it along and see what ChatGPT has for us. So, because again, it's good at words. And basically, when you get this data, the data is in words. And so uploading that, it's going to be able to make these connections and say, you know what, there's a theme here. The theme is whatever, and it's analyzing that data. It takes a minute because it's doing really, really hard computational work here. And it's going to spit out some really fantastic data, isn't it? No, it's not. uh, all right. It seems great. It's going to try it again. Great. I love that. At least it knew that it was failing. But let's see if we can find, I can find where I did that earlier and just show it to you. Maybe not. Okay. So, uh, sorry about that. But if I can find it, I will show you. I can show you where it did it for me before, because it's really, really helpful. Here it is. Insights and content ideas. So you'll see where I did this exact same thing, right? I uploaded the same file, and here's what it gave me, right? And it's gonna say emotion and communication. Here, how about a live Q&A session on teen communication, weekly tip series enhancing emotional intelligence, parent and teen relationship challenges, right? It's giving me some really helpful things. And again, you can have it generate it for you. You can keep going and say, okay, great, do those 10 and create the post for me. You can keep going and have it create it for you, but you're actually probably good at creating some of this content. And so what it does is it gives you the ideas based on the evaluation of the Facebook data. All right. We are 6 minutes before it's over, and I would love to use these 6 minutes to answer whatever questions that you might have left. So go ahead and throw those questions in there. I am so sorry for some of the technical difficulties we had, such as the life of doing technology in ministry. Whenever you need it to work, it will not. One of my favorite videos I've ever seen was there was a moment back in the early 2000s where Bill Gates was demonstrating his new operating system. He did something, and it immediately brought up the blue screen of death in the middle of his keynote. Yeah. All right. Generally speaking, what are churches' attitudes towards using AI? For example, to generate a call to worship or prayer, is there a way that we should cite the use of AI and be forthright about the use of AI? I would say, and this is what I was referencing at the beginning, this is not a replacement for your brain. Now, if I get, let's just see, I've got this book here, which is great. I've got this book here, which is great. I've got this book here, which is great. And if I read all of these books and I create a prayer based on that, I would not reference all the books before I do the prayer, right? And what I'm suggesting is that ChatGPT is a source, but that you need to work with it afterwards, right? It's a source for you. If you're just doing something ChatGPT just did, I mean, yeah, sure. Go ahead and reference it. And if you want to, if it's contributed significantly to an article or something, putting that in there, we use ChatGPT to create this. I think it's contextual, and different churches are going to feel differently about it. The church that I serve, mostly we use this for targeting and for humor, and so it actually makes it even funnier when I say, "Well, this is what Midjourney thought of this Bible verse," right? Great. If you only had time to learn one AI tool as a full-time pastor with no other staff, what would you focus on? ChatGPT, without any question. Just ChatGPT. Just do that, because it is, I think, the most versatile tool. Great. Great. I'm glad you're a volunteer. That's great. Any quick suggestion for AI tools to increase, improve, support volunteer engagement? Yes. So again, one of the things that there's some things that we know as pastors or as church leaders, that volunteers need little responses, really encouragement. But sometimes you don't know. Can you give me a list of 10 encouraging things I could say to volunteers, right? And then tweak them, make them your own voice, and then you've got that in your phone. You can go in, you can tweak it, you can send that. I think that's fantastic. What's the best way to get better at asking ChatGPT appropriate prompts? It seems there's a specific nomenclature or is that just an expertise shining through? I hope there is some expertise shining through, but really it's about that prompt engineering, right? And I gave you, and you can go to methodistai.com and you can go in and it says, here's a ChatGPT prompt structure, and you just follow it. You fill it in with your stuff, obviously. And remember, it can be long, and sometimes longer is better when it comes to this. The more detail you have in it, the better and closer to what you're wanting is the response. I think that's really great. Any concern over the public nature of ChatGPT? Can it be hacked? No. It is. I mean, anything can be hacked. Let's just be clear, right? Anything can be hacked, but it's not simple. It's not public, and it's not even like Wikipedia where it's publicly editable. They have their own model, their own way they vet sources and all of that. And so that model is crafted by the people at OpenAI. So that's really a great question. Yes, plan out my social media posts, right? Kelly, I love using ChatGPT to plan out my weekly social media posts. I like using it to give me a prompt in writing rather than running the prompt and then using it in Leonardo, which is an image generation thing. You can also do that. I think Leonardo is actually based on Stable Diffusion. So you asked, is there a reason I prefer Midjourney? Stable Diffusion is its own model. DALL-E is its own model. Midjourney is its own model. They all have different strengths. They all have different strengths and weaknesses. And I I think the images I get out of Midjourney seem to be better, higher quality earlier than do um, when I do the other ones. For more stuff that's like supposed to be pictures. If you're looking for something that looks more graphical, ChatGPT I think is a great. Uh, ChatGPT uses something called DALL-E, and DALL-E is a great one. All right. Any more questions for the good of the group? Because if not, we just went 1 minute over, and I'm gonna try to ask for forgiveness, but also ask Renee to remind us about the next webinar that's heading our way, as well as um, uh, how to sign up for the MyCom newsletter.
Yeah, so really quickly, if you learned about this particular webinar in the MyCom email, then you would have also seen the information for the next one. But just in case, I'm going to put the link to subscribe so that you don't miss it. So we're going to have Sabrina Joy Stevens. She has been a communication specialist and issue campaign strategist for some of the big labor and civil rights organization, and she is really great with disinformation and misinformation. So she's going to be doing a webinar for us on May 15th, and she's going to be talking about basically helping us clarify in our communication after General Conference. We all know there's probably going to be a lot of information circulating, some of it fact, some of it not quite so fact. So she's going to do a really great job at just kind of helping us break through all that disinformation and just being very clear in our communications. And if you want to get kind of a feel for her and her specialty, she actually hosted the MyCom podcast that just posted yesterday. And on that, she talks about digital storytelling. So you can kind of get a 2-for-1 situation there where you can learn about digital storytelling, and then also learning about her webinar that's coming up in May right after General Conference. So that should be a big help to everybody who's trying to figure out what to say when they're just not really sure what to say.